Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about how to compete in a crowded market. So Neil, you have a new tool that you released recently, and it is an SEO tool. What is it?
It's called UberSuggest. Technically, I've been working on new versions, and now I'm on version 2.0.
And here's the thing, with the SEO space, Neil and I talk about a lot of different tools that we like Ahrefs, for example, SEMRush, or ClickFlow, or all these different tools, right? And SEO is a very crowded space. Actually, somebody just put out a blog post recently about how competitive the space is. And so Neil decides that he wants to come into this space where there's a lot of big players already. So Neil, what was the reasoning?
Yeah, so I look at the big players in the space. Most of the major players aren't making a ton of money. And here's what I mean by that. Moz is around 50 million. Ahrefs, my guess is somewhere between 30 and 100 million max. I could be wrong, but I would say somewhere around there. And SEMRush is between 50 and 100 million, which is what they last did. Let's say around 60, 70 based on Nathan Latka's podcast with SEMRush. Now, Google does over 100 billion in ad revenue. SEO gets more clicks, but none of these SEO companies have hit over $100 million in revenue. So what I did is I'm like, their models are all wrong. I'm just going to take their software and release it all for free.
Yeah. So I think it's more than just releasing software, because you know that you have to have a good product out there for people to actually use. And people were kind of, what were people saying initially and what are people saying now?
Sure. So it's so crowded. I'm going to take a guess here that you probably haven't seen it either.
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's the thing, and there's nothing wrong if Eric hasn't seen it or anyone hasn't seen it. It's, we don't see all the stuff out there. Like even Eric's product ClickFlow, I didn't see it until probably the third or fourth email I ended up getting about it. And I was like, all right, let me check it out. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So what I found is when you're in a saturated market and there's no clear winner, you go look at what the best thing everyone is doing. You take their stuff, whether it's no one's usable or someone has this one feature and another competitor has this other feature. You take the best of everything and you try to go take that and create the best and most usable and simple product out there. For example, in the SEO space, everyone has 100 features. Like SEMrush, they have a ton of features.
Yeah.
Same with Ahrefs. How many of them do you use?
I only use like 2 to 3 main features all the time.
Exactly. Yet they have all these features. And I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying most people don't use it. So if you start taking all of this data and you can create the stuff people use and you make it free, you can start disrupting the market. And that concept is called last mover's advantage. The biggest social network isn't MySpace or Friendster. It's Facebook. They weren't the first out there. The biggest search engine is Google. Again, they weren't the first out there. Microsoft wasn't the first either. It's a lot of times the last mover wins because they learned from their market.
And so your product, people have said how it's different. How does your product differentiate from the other incumbents?
It doesn't differentiate much right now, other than the fact that it's free. The main thing that is a differentiator, because there's not really any features, is just that it's super usable. You put in a keyword, it'll show you the graph over time, search volume, SEO difficulty, paid difficulty. It'll give you keyword ideas. And on the same page, as you click over an idea, you can see a list of ideas, click through it, and on the right side of the screen, it'll tell you how hard is it to rank, the URLs that rank, their estimated visits, social shares, and the score of the overall domain.
Yeah, and what Neil says is important too. You learn from what other people are doing, and then logically, sometimes this is investing 101, right? You got to think about things in a different way than how other people are thinking. Because if you're just thinking about it how in a way where everyone else has already thought about it, then there's no value in how you're investing or what your thesis is, right? So Neil's thing is he's got a different model. Like he's going to build great software, and he's going to give it away for free, and that's what differentiates him, and that's how he can compete in this market. Because what's going to happen is, what is your goal? Your goal isn't to collect revenue immediately. What is your goal?
My goal is to build an all-in-one marketing suite that helps you generate traffic. I'm not necessarily trying to compete with SEO softwares. I'm trying to build an all-in-one suite, kind of taking a page from HubSpot's playbook, in which you can have one software that helps you get more traffic, from emails to push notifications to SEO to helping you with paid ads or social media. Just an all-in-one, really simple, easy to use tool.
Perfect. So what's kind of next on the roadmap, maybe for like 3.0 or so? Can you give people a preview?
Yeah, 3.0 will be right now you can just use the tool for keyword research. 3.0 will be you'll be able to put in a URL and it'll tell you top pages, top keywords, total traffic, and it'll even break it down per region.
Great. Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
All right, so that is it for today. But in order for us to throw a live event in downtown LA for free, we need your help getting to $1 million a month. We're on track for 850,000 right now. And to do so, rate, review, subscribe to this podcast. Go to marketingschool.io/stats to track our progress. Once we get there, we're going to see you in downtown LA. It's going to be sunny. You're going to be cold wherever else you are, so come to LA anyway. We're going to give you recordings too. We'll give you food. You're going to get to hang out with us all day. It's going to be great. So don't forget, rate, review, subscribe to this podcast. Help us get to 1 million. It helps. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. It helps. See you tomorrow.